Hey guys, today I want to show you guys a few things that goes on when you're refurbishing a device. So there's a lot of things that you gotta really look out for, and that's if it's worth it or not. This particular phone, I was told that it works, but I'm still gonna double check everything. It's already been gone through. Somebody's already opened it up before I did, so. But supposedly this was a bot device, so. Alright, I'm just gonna throw a screen on it and see if it does anything. In the meantime, I'm gonna go through the software, run the IMEI, make sure this phone isn't blacklisted or anything. Display. Yeah, so I'm gonna get that display message, unfortunately. I just want to check and see if it says anything. No SIM restrictions. Okay, that's actually a really good sign. Let's see. Let's grab the IMEI number. This is an unlocked iPhone 11. It's a 64 gig, and this is a purple, obviously. And everything's functional so far. Continue. Cameras, both of the cameras work. Rear facing camera's good. Well, I've went ahead and entered in all the information in our system, so I can go ahead and start the refurbing process. Alright, here is the phone. I think I turned it off. Yeah, I did. Okay, so now that we went through everything, we tested the phone, made sure that pretty much the basic options work, or the basic things worked. It charged, the volume buttons worked, the Wi-Fi worked, you know, the flash worked, the cameras worked. Basic things work. It doesn't mean that something won't stop randomly working later on down the road, performing this repair. That doesn't mean that nothing will go wrong, especially the state that the motherboard's in. Looks like what impact happened here happened on the wrong side. It'd be much easier if it was on the battery side. These flex batteries can be sometimes a little giving. Obviously the screen, it's got to be an aftermarket screen, and the frame and the back glass. So we've actually decided to change the color this time around. We got this this frame from Mobile Centrics, and they sell these with and without the back glass. If you get them with the back glass, they do not come with an Apple logo for obvious reasons. And so you can get this without the back glass and get an aftermarket back glass from elsewhere with an Apple logo. Almost looks like a brand new iPhone. That's what we're basically going to do with this iPhone, is make it almost pretty much brand new, refurbished. This is really nice because it comes with the volume buttons and flash and the charging coil already pre-installed. I'm just going to go ahead and install basically the phone before the back glass, because some of these aftermarket SIM trays are just garbage straight from the back. There's an IMEI number on this thing. What the? That's why it works so well. It's probably OEM. It's probably from a pull phone. Speaking of SIM trays, I wonder if this is going to pull out easy. It is. Okay. Put that off to the side. Don't need it. De-energize the board. That probably should have been step number 1 before even pulling the screen. My bad. We'll start from the top. Get the camera assembly out, if not the same. When it comes to these kinds of repairs, it's always important to keep track of which screw is which. Okay, I just found my tweezers. I'm just getting started, so I don't have all my tools that I need near me. Okay, here we are. Put that off to the side. Now I can disconnect this module, the Face ID module. Both of these. And this guy slides down. This screw, there's a screw there that technically holds it down, but it can slide down. Face ID is actually relatively easy to remove from these phones. Pretty much almost all phones. The 13s are a little different. You gotta take the speaker out. Let me get the 2 standoff screws right here. The other one's not necessary to remove just quite yet. I mean, everything's getting pulled out, so might as well get the other one that's out of here. This is gonna pretty much just flip open. Oh, that just fell out. I'm gonna take out this standoff screw. The only thing, see, these kinds of repairs are always just a little bit risky because anything could really happen, especially the state of this phone. The motherboard it's under a little bit of stress. Okay, disconnect these guys, and this motherboard should be pretty much ready to lift out. Watch my dummy self be forgetting something. The motherboard is fine. This, aside from that little piece there being a little bent, that explains why that little bracket just fell off. This is actually fine. That's not bad. Good job, Apple. I'm gonna go ahead and remove some of the components from the charging port. This is the unnecessarily difficult side. I wonder if the SIM tray is gonna work, or if I need to get another one of those. It's no big deal if I need to get another one. We have donor phones as well. Better make sure that little bracket makes it there as well. These are not the usual tweezers. These are actually my soldering tweezers. It's just I lost my normal tweezers, so by lost them, I still feel like somebody took them. It's just nobody's admitted it yet. So it's gonna work. Get the new SIM tray. I wonder if this is gonna sit in normally. That honestly, this is fine. It still ejects right. If I can get my fingernail, it still ejects. Okay. Alrighty then. Alright. Damn. My bad. This SIM tray is good. Despite of the state of the phone, this iPhone took whatever happened to it like a champ. I'm gonna put this here. This one right here. Remembering to keep our screws organized, because there's probably no way in heck I would be able to do this without a screw mat or a magnetic pad or anything else to keep my screws organized. I can't even remember the name of the last customer that came in here that wanted a repair. Now I'll flip that open, take off this standoff screw, charging port. This is a little bit of a weird one. This contains a microphone and other various sensitive things that flips open, and then you can go after the standoff screw. Then this thing can come out. I can go ahead. This speaker can be lifted out. This is usually the part where you think that it's ready to come out, but there are 2 more screws to take out. These screws are actually pretty much necessary. They actually really do help with holding down the charging port. Everything else here can be pulled off. Depends if I break this one on its way out. Retired tweezers. Just a little bit more adhesive under here, just kind of pry against it. It's probably being annoying because it's trying to probably take the piece of glass up with it. Okay. No, there's actually no glass under that. Let's see if I can bend it back just a little bit. Oh, that hurts. Alright, I'm not going to be doing that. Rolling in the heat pad. The 75. Yeah, we'll wait for this to get up to temperature. While this is getting up to temperature, this is actually not a bad time to do this. This is the top proximity sensor, but it's also responsible for holding a piece of serial for the facial recognition that is built into these phones. If that is lost, or if this serial changes, then the end user would lose that feature. So we try to save these if we can. It is nice to save these because it is nice to be able to lock your phone with your face. The era of using passwords is getting rather old, so I mean, we'll probably be doing it, you know, we'll probably be using passcodes for a minute. It's just convenience is number one. Go ahead and push this. Ooh, sizzly. It's rather sizzly. We no longer need Mr. Heatpad, but this is hot as heck, so I'm gonna carefully put that off to the side. Oh, I already turned it off. Why am I turning it back on? Okay, let me go ahead and grab a pull tab. Let me see if I can pull this battery the proper way. Usually I'm never really successful on doing such thing. But let's see if I can this time. See if I can do this the proper way. People praise these pull tabs. I can never get them to work. Never have been successful. I only ever get these things to work, but typically whenever I'm working on these iPhones, I don't have time. I'm typically just on a time crunch all the time, so whenever I'm restoring phones, like this is a store phone, nobody's really waiting on this phone to be done, but if this was like a customer's phone, they want their stuff done in just such a crunch. But it's always easier to just throw it on a heat pad and just bake it until it comes out, because those pull tabs, I didn't even touch them. So I now no longer need anything on this frame. I can get rid of this frame now, put that off to the side, and kind of just clean up this battery just a little bit. Admittedly, I do not have any factory pull tab, not because I'm particularly not really a fan of these. Nobody, wants to heat up a phone and put on a heat pad, douse it with alcohol, and just pry it up with one pry bar. People want to use pull tabs. I would rather them screw down the batteries, have the battery in an encased plastic shell, and just screw it down by either end. That rant's over. I'm gonna end that rant before it starts. I need to figure out if I want to keep this frame or this charging port or not. I may not, because actually that is not even noticeable. I'm gonna use this. This is fine. These microphones right here, it's important that they're stuck on properly, because I've restored a phone once upon a time and put it together and found out that the microphones weren't worth a darn. I actually picked up the wrong screw, but I'm glad I didn't stick it in the wrong spot. I'm gonna get this standoff screw, stick it in right here, and this will fold over and the microphone will just rest inside its little cylinder slot. And screw this guy down. Now this guy will not open itself back up on me. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and throw on the loudspeaker. We found it. We found it. It's like a little bit of a puzzle, isn't it? The Taptic engine goes on now. Okay. Install our Apple branded vibrator. Stick on these guys. Somebody's got their music blaring at 120%. They might have hearing issues. Stick this guy right here. This thing's responsible for, it looks like it's responsible for holding down the part of the loudspeaker and the vibrator. We'll not neglect that, nor will we anything else inside this iPhone. I can take this. I don't particularly think this is necessary, but I wonder if I just screwed myself by forgetting to screw and these two bottom screws. They gave me some room to work with here. Alright. I know I should probably really get that screw in there, shouldn't I? Alright, get this guy in. Get this taken care of. Man, my hand is shaking like a washing machine. I didn't eat anything today, that's probably why. It's just, darn. The tips of these tweezers are somewhat magnetic for whatever reason, because they keep trying to stick. Okay. Nonetheless, that is now in. I will go ahead and slide in this motherboard from here. I should probably slide in from the front, but there's really no way on avoiding having to finagle around connectors to get a motherboard and sliding in, or to slide in a motherboard. Let's load something like this. Ooh. Someone needs to install a muffler on their car. Okay, that's now in. Now, this little bracket here, with the top being the standoff screw, I'll go ahead and get that in. Reader, or SIM card reader. It is nice that they made that replaceable, but I think this is the last one that actually had those removable. Well, they might have been removable on the 12, but I think every 11 was also removable. Were they? No, I think the iPhone 11, preferably, I think mostly the 11 Pro Max they soldered it on. Do a little bit of slide in action. Now these are both standoff screws right here. Oh. Okay, there we are. See if I can get a pair of tweezers under this. There we go. All right. And the dot, or the infrared projector, dot matrix scanner, and the front camera. And the rear facing camera can also be slotted into its home with its two things connected. The only error message that's going to come up on this phone is that the screen had been replaced. So it's a little shame, but that's okay. At least the Face ID stuff worked with a capital D. Okay, get some of this stuff. Let me just get some down this edge right here. Nothing too crazy right here. This has really been recording for 41 minutes. And it's all been recording upside down this whole time. But you guys won't know because you guys will be looking at the edited version of this. Press this guy down. Alright, let me get this stuff ready to be put on. I'll peel this back. Now I'll stick on this Face ID, or the proximity modules. Not to forget this easily forgotten bracket right here. I'm not too entirely sure why they put it here. Maybe it's just to help secure the light level sensor. Okay, now I need the tri-wing, the one of the only security bits that you gotta take up and out of here, and this one. Alrighty, now we can go ahead and test and make sure this phone works properly. Alrighty, I'll just kind of close this down. The reason why I'm closing it down is because I don't want somebody to just see. I'm not closing it down all the way. I just don't want somebody to pick it up and rip the cable, rip any cables or anything. But I'm gonna test and make sure everything works. Face ID. Set it Face ID. I'm not a fan of this B7000. I particularly don't like it. It's a very, you have to get it hot for it to melt, like really hot. Somewhat identical to the already in-house glue that Apple already uses on their phones. I just don't believe in solving an issue with the same problem. Key tip right here, and just kind of wet these surfaces. This is really nice. I'll do my hyper dry technology, top of the line. There we go. Not too big glop all around the phone. Being careful not to get it too much into the edges. Okay. And I really only have one clean shot at this, so better make sure it goes on correctly. Alrighty. There we go. Now, just taking my clamps that are, for whatever reason, all closed. Okay. Wait for this to dry. Alright. And I guess I'll go ahead and throw another case on this thing. Or the case that it came with. The frame, I mean. Alright, so off with the old. And end with the new. So that nobody gets confused on what the new IMEI is. And this phone's ready to be resold.